Three, two, one.
You ready?
You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. This is the Real Pineapple. This is your humble host, Hunter, here. Hope you guys are having a great holiday season. And if you are a first-time listener, thank you so much for listening. Hope you guys like the content we go and provide for y'all. So we are actually extending if you're a first-time listener, we are extending the Real holiday series until the end of January. Just because there were some Christmas things, I wanted to have some people on to help me review. I didn't get a chance to, holidays are busy. So I'm going to go ahead and push that out until the end of January, which at that time, too, we will also have your best and worst of for 2019 by the end of January. I'm still watching a couple things, still fine-tuning the list for both. And, that'll be a long podcast, but I'm excited to go ahead and break down my best and worst of films of the year, and Colin, of course, will be joining me as well. But I wanted to review this because I'll be honest, guys, I forgot I saw this, and I saw this on a couple people's worst of, and I was really sitting there going, oh wow, I did see this. So I'm reviewing Playing with Fire, which is the movie starring John Cena and as Jake Carson. And so Playing with Fire, it's from Nickelodeon Studios, which is not a good omen most of the time. But it's also written by Matt Lieberman, who has written wow, he wrote the new Scoob movie. That's interesting. Okay. His first movie was Dr. Dolittle, Tale to the Chief, which I'm assuming was a straight-to-DVD movie. Yeah, with Kyle Pratt. Good grief. Okay. And Dan Ewan, who went ahead and wrote... Oh, my God. He wrote... Is that right? He wrote Son of Ernest? What? Oh, my... What? Is that real? That can't be it. Oh, it's in development, apparently. Oh my God, I hope that movie does not see the light of day. But it's directed by Andy Fickman, who I was kind of racking my brain. I was like, why do I know that name? So he directed She's the Man, which with Amanda Bynes, which I actually like. She's the Man. I was like, oh, okay, that's a good one. But then this is where it dips real quick. The Game Plan, starring Dwayne Johnson. Another movie starring Dwayne Johnson, Mixed Race to Witch Mountain, as I call it, but Race to Witch Mountain. You Again, with which I forgot that was a movie with that's got Sigourney Weaver, Jamie Lee Curtis, Kristen Bell. It's a dumb movie. It's a really dumb movie. He directed Paul Blart Mall Cop 2, which if you have not listened to our review of that, we did review that. I hate that fucking movie. Fuck Kevin James. And he also he did Kevin Can Wait. I hate him then. Okay. And yeah, so not a great track record for this guy. So here's the thing. Some people do have this on their worst of list. Will this make my worst of list? Probably not. But here's the thing about this. They don't really make films like this anymore. What this really more remind me of, I know he, of course, directed the Game Plan, but this reminded me more of The Pacifier. And that came out in 2005. So this is one of those kind of late 90s, early 2000s. You got the big macho guy going ahead and trying to go ahead and work with some kids, and you find out they've got a softer side, all that crap. It's really funny to me that something like Kindergarten Cop works for me just because of Schwarzenegger's natural charisma, and the fact that Schwarzenegger was kind of addicted to those kids at first. That always makes me laugh. Being addicted to children, yeah, I'll laugh at that. But John Cena, though, they are pushing him so much as that straight-laced, very like, oh, gotta do everything by the book. and all that. I think for me with John Cena, and I'll always give John Cena credit for one thing. I never liked him as a wrestler. He won way too much. Damn you, John Cena. But I always respected the amount of Make-A-Wishes that he would do. And I've seen him in things here and there. I actually like 12 Rounds. That's one of the few WWE films I think I actually do like. He's in the Suicide Squad, which I'm curious how he'll be in that. He's finishing up Fast and Furious 9. He's doing a voice in Doolittle, which I don't know how that's going to be. But he was also in Blockers, and we reviewed that. I really liked him in Blockers. I liked him in Ferdinand. I thought Ferdinand was a surprising amount of fun. He had basically a glorified cameo in Daddy's Home 2. I liked him in that. I liked him in Trainwreck. Again, it is more just a cameo. I really liked him in Trainwreck. I think John Cena, he's a naturally charismatic guy. And I think that will carry him a long way in this business just because of his charisma and his look. And if there's anything I can say about this movie, yes, John Cena is a bit of a goon in this, but God, again, it's the holiday season, maybe I'm just getting soft, but I feel like he's actually trying. There is some chemistry with Jake, his character, and Mark, who's played by Keegan-Michael Key. I feel like Keegan-Michael Key did this as a favor, just because it's Keegan-Michael Key, and he doesn't need to take a role. So I was actually surprised when I saw him in this. I was like, really? He's in this? But, fine. Not everything can be a home run. And he was just in Dolomite Is My Name, and I love him in that. And he was great in Toy Story 4. So, fair play. I'll give him kind of a pass on this. But there is chemistry between Jake and Mark that I did think helped this movie more often than not. My big problem is I hated these children. I thought all these kids were evil, and I would have put them in a box and shipped them somewhere. So Brianna Hildenbrand plays Bryn, Christian Convery plays Will, and Finley Rose Slater plays Zoe, who is the youngest of the three children. So Jake and his elite team, I think they're called Storm, Smoke Jumpers, Smoke Raiders, something like that. But doesn't really matter. But basically, they go ahead and find these kids in a house that's on fire. They go ahead and try to get in contact with their parents. The kids say that their parents are out camping. They're out at some cabin. So when the parents don't return, they have to go ahead and take care of the kids for a little bit until basically Child Protective Services gets there. Fine, that's a shoestring, paper-thin plot, but whatever. Here's the thing. I think the kids... How do I put this? I think the kids have some chemistry. Oh my god, that's where I recognize her from. So the girl who plays Bryn, that's Negasonic Teenage Warhead. I knew she looked familiar, and that actually trips me out more. I'll give them credit. They made her look like a teenager, so props on that. I didn't recognize her with hair. That's why it kind of threw me off. But Brianna Hildebrand, pardon me. She's got some comedic timing, John Cena. She was in Deadpool 2, why wouldn't she? But I liked her in this, and this is going to be a short review. This won't go over 20 minutes, by the way. But I appreciate the fact that she's kind of she's like the matriarch of the family, because you find out that that the family got killed. They don't ever tell you how the parents got killed, but they just died. So Bryn basically has been hiding them out all over the place, just trying to keep them together so that Child Protective Services doesn't separate them. And I will say, again, I'm not made of stone, so that mildly made me go, oh, okay, that's mildly sweet, I guess, fine, sure. So that kind of melted in my heart a little bit. I will say, too, the movie starts off, John Cena is basically, he jumps out of this helicopter to go ahead and help contain this fire. And this one girl is basically like, I want to have your babies. And he's like, I know, ma'am, but I've got a fire to stop. Right in front of her husband, her husband. The husband's like, what the hell? Like, thanks for emasculating me in front of everyone. And that actually made me laugh. It's a dark joke for a kid's film. I was like, oh wow, that's surprisingly edgy, but okay. Also, John Cena flat out pulls a superhero move, because when the woman goes, oh my god, thank you so much, he goes, you're welcome, ma'am, or whatever he does. And he, without looking, hooks this line to his harness and just shoots up in the sky like a superhero. And that made me laugh, because it's such a macho, an overly macho thing to do, that I actually went, you know what? Okay, that actually gave me a good laugh. One guy who's in this movie that I cannot stand, and I'm realizing I need to see him in just very small roles, not bigger roles like he is in this. John Leguizamo, man, he is just. I've seen him recently in the John Wick stuff, and I will always give him credit for Romeo and Juliet, Spawn, and oh my god, why am I blanking on the freaking movie? Chef. Yeah. I like him in some stuff, but good grief, he was so annoying in this freaking movie. I wanted to just throw something at him. I still hold Super Mario Brothers against him, by the way. But I actually liked he. How do I put this? He is just he's being told to just improv with no direction. I think that's the biggest problem with him. I think Keegan-Michael Key, because, I mean, he was on Key and Peele. He's kind of good at improv. It felt like a lot of this movie actually was improv. Like, they had a very thin outline. Like, hey, we want to go ahead and do a kids kind of throwback, late 90s, early 2000s movie. What can we do? We got to get to this point. We start here, we end here. Fill in the rest with kind of, whatever you need to do. And John Cena, while he's not a improv, like a king of improv or anything like that, being a wrestler for as long as he was, and I know he's not, actively wrestling now, but being a wrestler as long as he was, things go wrong. You do have to have that ability to kind of adapt on the fly. So I feel like John Cena, as he gets more into comedic stuff, I think he'll actually be something. I think he will continue to actually grow as an artist. Ferdinand, like I said, was surprisingly good for me, and I thought as a voice actor, I was actually surprised at how well he did. There is a point where Mark and Jake get into a fight, and Mark does John Cena's "You Can't See Me" hand motion, and that made me laugh. I have to admit that did actually make me laugh. There is a scene where Will, who's the youngest brother, he goes ahead and gets these guns that, by the way, they just leave out. I know that they're not used to having children there, but they just leave these flare guns out like it's nothing. And so he gets them and goes, oh, hey, like, I got these super soakers or these water guns. And of course Jake's like, those aren't water guns, and Jake just starts shooting, or Will starts shooting at everybody. Here's the thing. One, what water gun looks like that? I mean, that's one. Two, the fact you don't have these wrapped up or locked up, it's just absurd to me. And three, the fact that they don't lock these kids in a room, basically, at a point, because they damn near destroy this firehouse. And it's one of those things, at a point, you just go, okay, these kids are just being assholes for the sake of being assholes. You need to lock them in a room, or you need to call Child Protective Services, like, now, because they're not listening to you at all. I was on Jake's side, honestly, because these kids are just being little shits, and I found myself sitting there going, okay, like, he's trying to help you out. Yeah, he's a bit of a stick in the mud, but, you don't have parents, you can't really be picky right now. Also, this movie, the amount of just poop jokes. There's so many just random pratfalls and crap. There's a scene where John Cena gets tripped up chasing the kids. He tripped over a fire hose. There's a scene where one of the kids scares him where he's in bed and he's sleeping on the bottom bunk of a bunk bed. He hits his head like, what's going on? and the top bunk just falls on top of him, and the movie's like, haha, is that so funny? It's not. And it just keeps doing it, and the one that just really irritated me the most is there's a point where Zoe goes, I need to go poopy, I think is what she says, and she just shits her pants. I think the girl is 4, maybe 5. I mean, yeah, I'm sure you have accidents then still, but the fact she's just so aggressively like, oh, I gotta poop, oops. I just sat there and went, what? So, okay, here's the other thing. So, right after that scene, they show a scene where Mark and Jake are trying to change her. So, Jake comes out in, like, the fireproof suit. It's supposed to be able to withstand, like, nuclear particles and all this crap, but it can't handle Zoe's poop. And so I don't even remember how they did it, but there's this way that the poop gets into Jake's mask and, like, explodes in the mask, and the movie's like, ah! And I'm sitting there face palming at this point, just kind of shaking my head, going, "Why is this such a dumb? Why? Like, why is this so bad?" It's really frustrating at points because they just really are just shitty kids, and Brent is just a bitch. She is that classic 15-year-old girl who, tells you you're a shitty stepfather, but then asks for $50 to go to Hot Topic 10 minutes later. Like, it's really irritating. And the more I'm sitting there watching it, I was just sitting there going, these kids kind of deserve to not have parents, because they're just being really shitty children when they have someone who's actually caring for them. The other thing, too, they love My Little Pony. And My Little Pony is referenced as a huge subplot in this. They have this one character in here named Axe. I can't find the guy who plays him, but he's quiet. He always carries an axe. That's why he's called Axe. And of course, he connects with Zoe. There's a scene where he's having a tea party with Zoe, which I will admit, as a big brother, I did find that kind of sweet. But Zoe is, like, huge into My Little Pony. She loves My Little Pony. It's a huge subplot of this film goes into, like, Equestria and, like, the wishes that the different ponies have. And, like, they talk about, like, Rainbow Dash and Twilight Sparkle. And I'm sad I didn't have to look those names up. But anyways, so much of this movie, especially into the third act, focuses on giving her a big birthday party. And it's My Little Pony themed. I'm sitting there just watching this going, oh my god, you guys are just you're being shameless about your production and your affiliation with My Little Pony. I don't know if Nickelodeon, or I guess by proxy Viacom, owns My Little Pony or the rights or something, but oh my god, they were just hammering that nail home. And it was rather distracting. Wrapping up here, Jake has a romance with Dr. Amy Hicks, who's played by Judy Greer. I love Judy Greer. I'm a huge fan of Archer. She's in one of the few episodes of The Big Bang Theory I actually like, and I of course love her in the Ant-Man films. I think, and she was great in the Halloween reboot that they just did. I think she is just absolutely delightful, and whenever she's in something, I perk up. I'm always like, oh, okay. But their romance is just, it's weird, and it doesn't work at all. It didn't come across as believable to me at all. There are multiple points where John Cena just takes his shirt off, and I'm sitting there in this kid's movie looking around going, are there 5-year-olds who are just wanting to see John Cena shirtless? Like, I doubt it. So, didn't really make any sense, but I don't know. Overall, this won't be on my worst of, because honestly, I've seen way worse this year. Is this dumb? Yes, it's really dumb at points, but when they do get to reveal on the parents, and Jake kind of talks about his upbringing and stuff, there were some points I went, okay, that's kind of sweet, I guess. But honestly, if you like your kids, sorry, if you like your kids, you should love your kids, but if you at least like your kids, have them watch Abominable, have them watch Missing Link, haven't watched Toy Story 4, Disney Plus is like $7. Just go ahead and get that. But there's no reason to run out and watch this. I mean, if you had to rent it, if you were that, like, I want to see John Cena as a firefighter, then fine, I guess, but I'll never watch this again, clearly. But as far as a grade, okay. I was irritated for most of this, but I was never at that point where I was watching, like, Dark Phoenix or Cats, where I was just like, I need someone to give me a drink right now. I was never that mad watching it. I was just more sitting there going, this is just not for me. And honestly, if you're going to get your kids in the film early or just give them something to watch, give them something better than this. Come on. You love your kid. Like, they didn't ask to be here. Go ahead and give them something better than playing with fire. Hell, get them to watch... Actually, don't have them watch the game plan. I think I like that one late. Actually, never mind. I'm just going down this rabbit hole. Anyways, but this is... It is what it is, and I didn't leave with venom or sadness in my heart. I just left kind of irritated. But again, what you gonna do? I'll give this a D+. I think if you read boxes for $1, and I can't stress enough, I would not pay more than $1 to rent this, then sure, fine. Just make sure you rent it, like at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock that night when rentals renew, so the kid can watch it in the morning, and then you can return it by mid-afternoon. That's how I would do it. Or wait until Netflix, because it will be on Netflix. This came out like a little less than 2 months ago. This will be on Netflix by April, probably. So it's fine. You don't even really need to run out and rent this. But what you gonna do? So, guys, Playing with Fire. Have you seen it? I hope you haven't. But if you have, let me know what you thought in the comments below. Go ahead and hit that like button on our Facebook at The Real Pineapple. Go ahead and follow us and subscribe to us on the following platforms. We are available, we are on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher Radio, and Spotify at The Real Pineapple. You can follow yours truly on the Twitter at JHunterRealPineapple. You can follow Scott on Twitter at Nearmanthefirst. And you can follow Colin on Twitter at The Real O'Neill. Guys, we're heading to a new year. Just because it's a new year doesn't mean you shouldn't have a new look. Get yourself some new jewelry, maybe. Go ahead and check out our sponsor, Stad Guy Studio. That's STADTGEIST.studio, and use the code REALP2019 for 10% off your order. We will be getting a new code soon, obviously. That is REELP 2019 for 10% off your order. Again, you're welcome. Guys, thank you so much for listening. We will have reviews up this week of the new year. God, we're going to 2020. Good grief. We will have reviews up for The Irishman. We will have a review up as well for Just Mercy. And I will have a review up for Mandalorian Season 1. I just finished it, and I've got a lot to say about it. So, guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for your support. Look forward to talking to you guys soon. Take care. And if we don't hear from you before then, Happy New Year.